This is the Spurs Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Antonio Spurs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, it's one of the few opportunities the Spurs got in the month of December to play in front of their fans here in the Alamo City, and they made it their worthwhile. Welcome into the Spurs Postcast right here on Locked On Spurs, the #1 podcast network, sports podcast network in all of the land, because of the everydayers like yourself hanging out with us, making all of this possible. San Antonio's tonight, 126-119 winners over the Memphis Grizzlies for the second time in less than 4 weeks in a very similar fashion. He is NBA champion. I'm Devin Brown. I'm Casey Viera. My friend, one of the few times we're going to see this Spurs team in the Frostbank Center between now and Christmas, really the month of December. But like I said just a second ago, they made it well worth it for the people in attendance tonight and I guess watching wherever you may be.
What a great home game. What a show they put on. I can finally, I'm breathing better now than I was there at the start of that fourth quarter. But yes, absolutely. What a great way to go back on this road for a little bit than to have a home game like this, Casey.
And it took a little bit of everyone. We'll tell you how they got there.
This is what you'll be talking about.
All right, so again, for the second time in less than a month, the two teams getting together in San Antonio. And this was first half that San Antonio did shoot the ball very well. The Spurs did. A first quarter, they hit 7 of their first 9 threes, actually. Collectively, the first half, 11 of 22. I believe the 22 is the most they have taken in the first half from 3. It all led to them being up by 4 at the break. Call me where you've heard this before. Another not as great third quarter comes about after half, and the second time they've actually had this happen to them against Memphis. They gave up 39 points in the third. Memphis goes up by 1 heading into the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is where things get very interesting because throughout the entire game, Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr., they made life tremendously difficult on the smaller front court that the Spurs were sending out there. And San Antonio was getting dramatically out-rebounded. Both of them get into foul trouble. It spearheads a little bit of a rally to which Memphis responds, to which San Antonio has a good counterpunch. They close the game on a high and ultimately walk away with a 126-119 win. Harrison Barnes, the high man, he had 31, Mr. 100, knocking down 7 threes. De'Aaron Fox, 29, 4 and 4. Dylan Harper, 15 points, 6 assists in 21 minutes. The notables tonight for your San Antonio Silver and Black. What you got, my friend? Biggest takeaway?
Biggest takeaway was this. Memphis coming in playing good. I think they had won 3 in a row. And, they got a lot of stuff going on with, some of their star player. And as a team, in the locker room, you're prepared for that. We had faced a couple of teams like that myself. And all you want to say is we don't want to get in the way of their problems. Like, they don't want to come in town and get better off of us. So all I can say about tonight is the Spurs took care of business. When you have, and Memphis had, this is Memphis, 58 points in the paint. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. All right. They go 20 of 24 from the free throw line and they shoot 50% for the game. But what hurt them was the 15 turnovers, right? Mm-hmm. Spurs had 6 turnovers. There's a huge difference, right there. Plus, we have Mr. De'Aaron Fox, who showed up in the fourth quarter. Harrison Barnes was great all game long. And I believe five players in double figures for the Spurs. That's what you need. We talk about it all the time, Casey. You need it from everywhere, right? And now you got, Fox has been pretty consistent about his game. And you get Harrison Barnes tonight. Other night has been Fasal, Champagnie. That's what you're going to need to do as long as, the big fella's going to be out. So just a great game, great balance win. And there was a couple great calls by Mitch as far as his coaching tonight. So congratulations on that.
You mentioned Fox. He had a big fourth quarter, and the game itself looked very familiar and had a very familiar outcome to the Spurs fans. So I guess collectively as a whole, everyone in the building, everybody who watched, and it all was decided essentially in the final few minutes in a deja vu type fashion.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
A quick bullet point reminder from the first time these two teams met in San Antonio. It was a Memphis advantage. They had a 1-point lead with 3 minutes to go. San Antonio, in the final 3:13 of the game, they go on an 11-0 run and ultimately win the game. They hold the Grizzlies scoreless over the final 3 minutes. Fast forward to today. Memphis 113, 110. They have the advantage, 4:08 remaining. Timeout Mitch Johnson after a Cedric Coward bucket. What does San Antonio do? They proceed to go, the Spurs go on a 12-2 run to go up 122-115. That the meat of the run, ultimately free throws, garbage time, buckets, decides things and makes the advantage 126-119. But it's another 119. But it's another big run, spearheaded in crunch time. And De'Aaron Fox in that final 4:08 finishes with 11 points in the final 4 minutes. Exactly why they keep him around. Exactly why he gets the late game accolades like he did a few years ago, and he did it again tonight.
He did. He stepped up big. I don't know when he won that award, whatever year that was, a couple years ago. I don't know what the average was at, 7 or 9 or whatever it was, but 11 big ones tonight. De'Aaron was, tremendous down the stretch. And, I'll tell you what, I want to say the Spurs did what it was necessary to do tonight to get this one done. But you have to give Memphis, a ton of credit, because with everything swirling around that basketball team, the coach seems to have the pulse of the players that are on the floor. And those guys, played well. But in the end, Spurs showed up, Spurs played well, and were able to get the W.
Yeah, of course, Ja Morant, this is 8th consecutive game that he's missed with a ironically enough calf situation. Now 8 with the calf.
Calf.
Calf, yeah.
Casey, you get to pick those.
I was going to say, this is what we're told. Who knows the broader picture there? We know it's a little bit more clouded, I guess.
Well, no, I thought it was a headache, and then the manager, not the manager, but the trainer is not allowed to carry Tylenol, so she's got to sit out.
That's what it was. Hey, like you said, we don't get into Memphis's problems. That was the first lesson you told everyone on this episode. We don't get into this problem. So we'll talk about what's going on the good side of things. Mentioned that fourth quarter, and this is another positive sign that we've seen out of Dylan Harper, and it happened again tonight. We talk about the turning points of this game. This is what I thought was going to kind of be the turning point, and they were going to take off from that point in the game and go forward. So midway through the fourth, I mentioned big guys getting foul trouble over there. Edey picks up his 5th. Jaren Jackson, the 3rd, had already had 5 at that point. Spurs proceed to go on a 9-0 run, spearheaded by Dylan Harper, spearheaded by Keldon, spearheaded by Jeremy Sohan, who finished with 11 points, 6 rebounds in 18 minutes, probably the best game that he's played in a considerable amount of time. And this is the second time in probably as many games that we've seen this. This is all going to circle back to the point that I'm making to Dylan Harper here. We have seen that he looks like he belongs and has not skipped a beat. You can make the case tonight that this might have been his best game so far. It was this and then the Brooklyn game, second game of the season, that stick out in the immediacy. You have to look at it. But Dylan Harper seems like he's settling in well, and things flow when he's on the floor. And there's not really much more you could ask for on that front.
Casey, you played basketball. I played basketball. All right. Listen, if you're going to have any success in this league, and he has the DNA to do that, and he is going to be successful, you got to watch what's around you, right? And he's with the San Antonio Spurs, so he knows what the landscape is around here and where this team is going to be healthy, especially when, Wemby and Castle come back, and where it is that he's going to be able to do. He hit that corner 3 tonight. That young man's got to feel good about that. The team feels good about that, because I'm pretty sure he's getting 500 to 1,000 threes up per day. And to see that one, and it makes it all worth it, right? When you make that one, especially for him and what it does to open up the rest of his game. So to answer your question, the first part of your question was when both those bigs, Edey and Triple J, got those 5th fouls, Hey, all those guards, everybody that you mentioned, Keldon and all those guys, hey, they said, "Whew, let's get in that lane." Hey, because it was wide open, wide open. I love Aldama, whatever his name is, but he ain't those two. So they attacked the paint when it mattered. And again, Dylan Harper was in there. I'm not stirring anything up, Casey. Dylan
No,
Harper was in
I was
there
going to say
at
you're
the
relatively
6-minute
civil
mark.
today. So,
Again, that's the second game in a row. We'll keep
yeah.
an eye on that, Casey.
Zach Edey had 19 points and 15 rebounds tonight. The Spurs got out-rebounded 50-40. For context, that was actually a better showing on the glass than they were the last time. And this is, I guess, another aspect of the deja vu. The last time they played the Grizzlies, they got out-rebounded 59-38 in that one, too.
Yeah.
But listen, man, C's get degrees, and you find the wins wherever you can, right?
Yes.
And they found the win tonight. And they found it, and they made the winning plays in crunch time, and they did it when it mattered to get a win that they needed ahead of a big-time road trip that's on deck, of course, through the month of December. Let's talk about that coming up on the other side of the break, including when we'll see Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle. Mitch Johnson gave a little bit of an update today as to when that's going to happen, how it could happen, if it's going to happen at all. That's why you got to hang out a little bit right here on the Spurs Postcast on Locked On Spurs, following a 126-119 victory tonight for San Antonio to move to 14-6 on the season. More on that, but let's step aside to talk about a few of our friends who drive this program. And we'll start by having a conversation about FanDuel. As we know, NFL Sundays, they move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, momentum swing, highlight moment, all that stuff. That's what makes it fun. The live betting at its best when things start to shift, get dicey, and it's pretty cool too, because the live spreads and the money lines, they instantly adjust. And if you're feeling good about it, hop on it right there. Same deal with the player props as your guy gets going. I'm a Raiders fan, so that's a different conversation. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long, of course, with FanDuel. The games move fast, and so can you. And also, running our program tonight, driving our program tonight. Prize Picks. The holiday season is one of the best times for sports. And while we're all making choices every day, one of the most fun places to make the right call is Prize Picks. It's the easiest way to get in on daily fantasy. Just pick more or less in at least 2 player projections, lock in your lineup, and you're good to go. You're good to go. Fast, simple, easy in 45 states, including Texas. Obviously, a lot of San Antonio viewers here. Texas, California, Florida, and Georgia. An example, Harrison Barnes, he had 31 tonight. That's well over his projection. You can choose from a huge range of unique stats, fantasy score, field goal attempts, if you're talking about football, of course, whatever fits your strategy. And the early payout is what I like here because it's a great bonus. When the lineup starts going strong, you're like, all right, good. I'm good. Take the money and run. And you can with Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 after you play your first 5 with Prize Picks. It's good to be right. $126-119, what the final ledger reads tonight for the San Antonio Spurs. Walking away victors ahead of a big road trip on deck, a lengthy, cold December that is on deck as our buddy Devin Brown checks back in. And we got an update of sorts of when we're going to see Victor Wembanyama back, when we're going to be seeing Stephon Castle back. Victor, of course, with the calf situation, the calf strain, a hip flexor for Stephon Castle. Mitch Johnson, this is the first time San Antonio media has seen him in a couple of weeks with the road trip. This was going to be the last time the San Antonio media was going to see him for a couple of weeks because of the ensuing road trip. That's on deck. So naturally, Wemby, Castle, they were a part of the conversation, to which he did say neither of the two were going to be making the flight Tuesday tonight into Orlando, the back-to-back tomorrow. But there is a level of optimism or hope, wherever the optimism may be from them or from the team, wherever, that they can come back and join the team on the road trip at some point. Vague, Devin, very, very vague, a very broad way, expected way that he would answer that kind of question. But at least it's something right now to get an idea of where the timeline is with these guys coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Mitch and the Spurs, they have every right in the world to do that. But if you're the Lakers, you expect those guys to be back for that game. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But as far as, not making the trip, I had been a part of that. Tim and I were hurt 1 year on the rodeo trip. We came back. So this goes on all the time, all across the league. No big deal there. And, the guys that are going to be playing against Orlando tomorrow, I mean, Mitch played 11 guys tonight. He may do the same thing tomorrow. So they'll be ready to go. They'll be ready for Orlando, the guys that are going to be there. But very positive news. At least, it's positive that they're moving in the right direction as far as those two coming back sooner rather than later. Because
Yeah.
I have heard that, there are some people saying that Wemby's, done. But we don't want to start that. He'll be back. That young man, loves the game of basketball too much to be gone too much longer.
I guess we'll find out, because the road is not particularly easy between now and the next time we will see them, which I guess theoretically could be on the 12th, 13th, 14th, right around there, because they'll play either Oklahoma City or Phoenix. Regardless of, whoever it may be, whether they win, whatever it happens after the Laker game, it's going to be one of the two. And it's a chance that game will be back here. So you figure that's like 13th, 14th, so somewhere in that ballpark. We know that
Right.
they got to play a game. With the exception of that, though, it is going to be a lot of time on the road, a lot of time to, as you know, to figure this thing out. They're in the middle of a stretch right now. And I didn't realize this. This is not off the top of the dome. This is Jacob Toby on the broadcast math. He said 21 cities they're going to be in over 23 days.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
I mean, they almost got hit with essentially 2 rodeo road trips of sort this year.
Yeah, combined. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I mean,
is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, one of those cycles where you get a check's gonna pass through, so you're good. I mean, just gotta deal with it. Oh, and you get per diem. Fine.
You get your meals expensed.
Yeah.
I love how.
And plus, it's free food on the plane, Casey. Good. Shit, we're making money. Money.
Yeah. Okay. I love how it always comes back with you. How it's it's a rough stretch. It is what it is. At the end of the day, 1st and the 15th, they're going to come either way. Cash out.
hey, look, you gotta have, Casey, you gotta be positive. You gotta be positive. And I didn't realize it was that many cities, and that, like, man, you're really just taking a couple outfits out or one outfit out. You don't want to take all your stuff out. Like, whenever I got on the road and got to a hotel, I emptied the bag, refolded, organized everything. This doesn't sound like one of those trips. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, this was 4 games on the road, come back to town, not even spend 48 hours in town, leave. I'm sure they're probably going to be leaving in the next hour. You figure like midnight or so.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. In the next hour, hop on a plane, go to Orlando, go to Cleveland, go to New Orleans, go to LA for the Emirates Cup knockout game, maybe back home, then back on the road. You got Oklahoma City twice, 3 times if they advance in the cup game. That's like 3. There's a chance they get Oklahoma City 3 times in 10 days. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's interesting, because that can it's either going to be a great 3-game series or it's going to be not good.
But like we say a lot with this young Spurs team, we'll find out.
Exactly.
We'll find out. And that we certainly will find out that for sure. But we'll see. In all seriousness, though, a win like tonight is one that they had to get, because they're not going to be too many favorable situations that they're going to be in the month of December. So if you can take care of business tonight, you're good. It gives you more breathing room. If you go out and you lay an egg wherever it may be, if they go out and they throw up a clunker against New Orleans, not great, but you you win games like tonight. So you give yourself the affordability. If you're having an off night in the middle of a lengthy road trip, you don't show up to work that day. It happens. Like, it's the league. So I thought it was a good one today on that front. Also good, our player of the game tonight.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Mr. 100 doing Mr. 100 things, my friend.
Harrison Barnes was amazing tonight. Sean Elliott couldn't sit still. Sean Elliott had an amazing night too as well. But Harrison, you got to give it up to him, man. The man stepped up. Any matchup was in his favor tonight. That's what was going through his head. And when he's making shots like that, he's an amazing, not only person, but basketball player. So congratulations to Harrison Barnes tonight.
Yeah, he had 31 points, 29 through 3 quarters, 7 of 10. I dropped my notes. I'm not going to get them, but I know he played well. I think it was 7 of 10 from 3. Sean, you mentioned Sean. Sean was killing me tonight. Yeah. He was killing me because this was like the ultimate Sean Elliott night. Harrison Barnes went nuclear, and they're early in that. You know how they've been introducing that segment this year where they've been showing love at the start of the third quarter to, you know, local eateries, wherever, just giving them love. That's what
I see that starting to become a thing.
It's becoming a thing. And my man is like knuckle deep in a piece of pie. And the Grizzlies are just like in the middle of like an 8-0 spurt, just an 8-0 spurt to start the quarter. But Sean is just like, I think it was like a cookie dough type, whatever.
Yeah, it was a cookie dough. It had 3 scoops of ice cream. Yeah,
that one. Whatever it was, we weren't going to get Sean Elliott back until like Friday. I just know that.
Yeah.
Jacob over here is on the call. He's like, up 6-0 run. Up 8-0 run. Memphis has tied the game. And Sean is just like, man, I know where we're going for dessert. We're just going right to the arena over here. Nights like tonight were made for Sean Elliott.
Hey, when I saw that dessert, I went, man, that looks good. But I don't know. And then next thing you know, it's right in front of him. And I'm like, oh boy.
Yep. We're not getting Sean back until after Christmas. No, it was good. The night was made for Sean Elliott. So I'm glad
that's right.
And Jacob brought up a good point on the broadcast. He was like, hey, we're not sleeping tonight anyways. So
no,
load up on that sugar.
Yeah.
That's not me, though. I need some rest because tomorrow on the postcast, I'm doing this thing solo. Devin's wearing his coach hat. So it's going to be me anchoring the ship, better or worse, right after things go final between Spurs and Magic. That's a 6:00 tip. So once that thing goes final, I will be hanging out with you and hopefully talking about a Spurs win, much like we did tonight. And before we put a bow on things like we do every time we get together, got to show love to you guys, the everydayers, always hanging out with us. And the big reason why the Locked On Podcast Network is now the #1 sports podcast network, because of the individuals like yourself hanging out with us on a Tuesday night following a win or a loss, whatever it may be. You guys showing love are the reason this is all fun. San Antonio winners tonight. The Spurs, they move to 14-6, and they take off for the road tonight into Orlando tomorrow after a 126-119 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. So for my good buddy, NBA champion Devin Brown, my name's Casey Viera. I'll be back. I'll talk to you tomorrow night following Spurs Magic. Have a nice night.